Terry, you're muted, man.
Hey everybody, how we all doing tonight?
Howdy, howdy,
Everybody
howdy.
out there, can you all hear us good? I hope so. One of the first things I wanted to throw out there was I'm glad you made it back, ZXL Master. Um, that compliment is definitely for you. You are an awesome mod. I'm glad to have you as a mod on my channel. I see you out and about
Yeah.
everywhere, and no matter where you're at or who you are modding for, you are always fair, and I really, really appreciate that. So if you're out there and you're listening to me and you need a good mod, you happen to see ZXL in your chat, make sure you give him a wrench. That's the kind of person that you want. So hello everybody. Let's see here. See who we can find. I have to kind of switch screens here because I'm not as technical as Sovereign. I don't have 2 or 3 monitors. I say, oh geez, I see Accountability for All, Articuto, Darlene Jones, Ida Anson. I see KDD, Kevin, Kimmy Dawn, Mitten State Media, Nope, It Wasn't Me, Sis Pinkerton, and of course, ZXL Master. Hello to everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Up here on the panel with me, of course, I have Sovereign Soul and Chain Mine. And I have EB Joe, who is going to be my new bouncer. So if you come in running your mouth too much and making a big deal on the show, she's gonna pretty much be the one that wears the big boot and kick you right in the ass and get you off the panel. So how are you two doing tonight?
I'm finer than frog hair split 3 ways.
That's pretty fine.
About the same.
Well, good. We got some fine frog hair up here tonight. That is something right there. Oh, let's see. There's Navy Girl. I've seen her pop in. And Taylor, hello.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to have y'all.
Oh, look,
It's like-
Josh is here. There's Josh. Hi, Josh.
Right. I just caught a video on his channel earlier.
Josh Abrams. Josh Abrams.
It's not Abrams, man.
What?
His last name isn't Abrams, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, shit, I thought it was something else. Well, see, that tells you how much I know. Hello, Amanda J. Hey, there's even Car Thief, Lick the Whole Boot, getting some of the big names in here now. I watched a video on Josh's channel earlier today, and it was actually a pretty good interaction. The only thing I noticed was somebody had called simply because they were filming, and when they show up, he's having a conversation with the officer, and he's like, you do realize that, like, you can't, because he said something about, well, we wouldn't be arresting you for filming, we'd be arresting you for disorderly conduct. And he couldn't seem to explain to the goober that my camera cannot cause disorderly conduct. You can't take a constitutionally protected activity and then say that is now a crime, not because you're filming, but because you're standing here with a camera. You know what I mean? Made no sense. And sometimes I wish the police would go back and tell the ones who reported that they're actually almost guilty of making false police reports and explain to them our rights, rather than going back and saying, look, man, we hate it too, but there's nothing we can do, okay, and leaving. You know what I mean? It's not the proper attitude that a police officer should have, in my opinion, and that's what they gave me. So anyway, if you haven't checked out his channel, which I'm sure everybody that knows me knows him, go check him out, see what he's got. Car Thief, he also actually has a channel. It's a pretty good channel. If you want to go check him out, do that. Of course, everybody I think knows Lick the Whole Boot. Seems like a pretty fair and concise type of guy, and he and I seem to agree on a lot that we would like to try to bridge the divide, not only between us and police, but between the channels and between the different communities on YouTube. We had an in-depth discussion of that. Sorry about that. My tongue's getting wrapped around my eye teeth, and I can't see what I'm saying. But now that we've given it a few minutes, one of the first things that I want to cover is this past weekend. Personally, for me, as I've said, and I'm sure most people have heard it, but for those of you that haven't, know that it's probably going to be one of the most, not the most, but one of the most memorable weekends of my entire almost 50 years of being alive. I had a great time with awesome people, got to eat some good food. I got to eat some interesting food in other places, got to see some things that I probably would have never gotten to see, and spend time with some awesome friends and make a couple new ones. Yeah, so what do you think about that, David? How was your weekend? What from your perspective?
Oh, I had a blast, man. It was pretty wild. It was kind of surreal in a way because, like you were saying, you're used to seeing all these different people on their channels, and then it's sort of like they're all in one spot. It was kind of surreal in a way, But I'll tell you what, Irish Demon cracked my ass up, man. That dude is a hoot, man. He is.
Yes, he is.
And
Watching him
JL,
experience.
JL was just he had me cracking up the whole time too, man. I was having fun.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you don't know who JL is, his channel is called Bridge the Divide. So if
Yes.
you want to check him out, he is incredibly funny. You may or may not agree with what he has to say, like us, but he is worth checking out. So, well, but I had a great time. Eva Joe, what about you?
Oh, I had a good time. It was a lot of fun. And it was amazing how much we're the exact same as we are, whether we're online or whether we're in real person. So that was really fun.
It was, in the beginning, and it's kind of funny because it's hard when you meet when you're used to watching somebody on their channel, you kind of see them as an actor or a star, like kind of like these people you see on TV. So when you meet them in person, you tend to be just a little bit took aback and starstruck. And this past weekend, I experienced that a lot when they shook my hand, and it really humbles me because I don't deserve such. I'm nowhere near that, and yet I was treated that way. And then whenever I met JL and Irish Demon, it was really hard for me not to have that feeling myself, not to be just a little bit starstruck in the beginning, to meet somebody that I've watched for a long time and seen the same kind of thing. And but to find out that we all are exactly the same way off camera as we are on camera, that was amazing. To find out that we're not actors, that we don't act and we don't put up a show. We, even though we make content, we're not acting and we're not faking who we are. We really are who we say we are.
Peter's asking me about where's the Mothman shirt. It's in the other room. I wore that on the last video that I did. Um, that was a neat thing, man. It was like, if it was only an hour away. I was like, let's go see the Mothman Museum, man. Let's go check this shit out. And Peter, so you got to actually see some video, and I'm sure you've heard about the world famous hillbilly hot dogs over there in the Netherlands. I'm sure it said it was world famous. So, you know, Peter, Peter Lemire.
The
It's
interesting thing
also like
about the words world famous is when I lived in Columbus, they opened up a barbecue shop. And it was funny because during their grand opening, they put out this huge sign that said, "Grand opening, try our world famous barbecue."
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
probably the only person standing outside going, "Wait a minute. If this is your grand opening, how in the hell is your barbecue world famous? How did this happen?" Is my question.
Mm. And you probably were just
Words that
exposed
sell.
troublemaker. You're just trying to conspiracy theorist. See, not going along with
Yeah, well, I'm called a lot of things.
conspiracy theory.
All righty. So I,
hey
I, I
Jane,
had
how are
purposely
you?
waited a few days.
There's Jane.
I had purposely waited to put up my video about how I felt about this weekend and let everybody else get theirs out. I didn't want to step on any toes. Sometimes it's hard to get a live in because everybody's on. You know what I mean? It's hard not to step on any toes because there's a lot bigger channels out there than me that, people will go see. So, if I want them to come and see my show, I have to try to find a time slot, and I don't normally have one. So
Right,
I
right.
just waited a couple of days out.
Well, I kind of look at
But
it like this,
I do.
I'm kind of like there's a lot of other prime time shit out there, so I go at the half hour mark. You know, I'll go at the half hour mark, and plus it's recorded. If somebody wants to see it, they'll go back and see it. You know, but
Well, true,
I have
true that, true that.
I have the most fun though when it's live because it's kind of like there's some spontaneous shit, and uh, stuff that comes up in the chat and whatnot. You never know what's going to come up out in there. You're dealing with 100 different people that are got all different shit to say all over the place.
Well, that's my favorite part is the interaction with the panel and the chat. I truly enjoy the social interaction. Even if we're not in agreement, I just enjoy the interaction. So I like having people in and out.
Yep.
That's why I don't particularly like to just make a video and throw it up and read the comments later. I actually like the live interaction as we go.
Oh yeah, man. That was I was gonna try to do more live from there, but I got a little thing right straight off the bat on my phone saying I'd already used up too much data or some shit like that. It was some kind of prohibitory sign. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just upload it from Wi-Fi later or something, you know. I don't
Well,
know.
thank you, Peter. Peter said he left Artie to watch mine, so
Oh,
I
all right,
appreciate
all right.
that. You know, Artie may not appreciate it so much, but I sure do. Um,
Already can afford it.
he'll be all right.
He'll be all
All
right.
right. So I do have a little bit of an update here. It is about Sergeant Spalger, well, ex-Sergeant Spaljeric. He is no longer with the Ironton Police Department, so I guess we'll just call him Bradley Spaljeric from now on, since that is his name. Um, I found out the reason that he does not have a scheduled court date. First of all, they are bringing in a special prosecutor, and secondly, they are going to bring in a special judge. Now, I assume, or I was told that the reason they didn't have a date yet was because those two have not been selected and brought in. So I assume that when they bring those two in, that's when we'll have a date. And I'll try to make sure I keep getting back into clerk's office every week to find out when that is. So that's the reason that the court date is up in the air. It's not been swept under the rug. They are actually trying to handle it correctly and make sure that there is no conflict of interest. So that's what seems so far. That's what seems to be going on there. Secondly, just to put all of the other theories to bed about where he was arrested and where he was at and what he was doing when it happened and the reason that McKnight didn't go to jail and the reason that his kids didn't get took away from him and all of those other questions that are out there. He was actually arrested in front of his, I don't know if they were actually married or not. It was either his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend. Apparently, whoever she is, and I'm sorry, I don't know her and I don't know her name, and I try not to pry too much into the personal lives, of all that, but apparently it is the mother of his kids, I assume. And again, that's partly an assumption. And apparently there was a sheriff's deputy driving down the street who notices two people fighting outside, pretty much on the sidewalk and in the street, and he stops, and that's how that whole thing got started, because it was Brad and I assume that particular lady. So that's how all that got started. He was not at Officer McKnight's house, Patrolman McKnight. He was not there, and that's the reason it had nothing to do with him. And so there you go. That's all of the update that I have so far on
What I'm curious about though is
Brad Spaljeric.
what I'm curious about is how did it go from fighting with the old lady in the front yard to a drug charge? You know, that there's the how did those two coalesce together? You know what I'm saying? Um, did she
Well,
go
how they got permission to search
yelling?
his vehicle and find his drugs, I don't know. I wasn't there. But the deputy was driving past and saw them fighting. So that's where the domestic violence actually came in. He actually physically saw them fighting. He then called an Ironton police officer. I'm not sure which one showed up, but that's how they got in on it. Apparently, that's normal. If, I guess if IPD saw a sheriff screwing up, they would also call that department.
Yeah, that's how it worked here in like in Luray. They have you know, we was at the thrift store and my son and my daughter-in-law was down here. And as we were pulling in, there was a whole bunch of cop cars in front of us. There's an apartment next to this thrift store. And they were all going in there. And I know the chief of police in Luray. He was a town cop here in Stanley like 25 years ago. Um, and I said, "What's going on, Carl?" And here's this other lady standing there right next to us. And I said, "So what's going on over here, Carl?" He says, "Oh, there's somebody got a great big old alligator in their bathtub." And this lady's like going, "What?" Like that. And I was like, "Fuck you, Carl. What's really going on?" He's always just serving some kind of papers, but I think I mean, I'm like, I know this dude. He's like all the time fucking pulling shit on you. He's a joker a lot of times. But yeah, I mean, they worked together. It was county and town cops there because it was in town. But I don't know. It's really weird out here. Like where I'm at, our cops are we have town cops, but they're only like from like 9 to 5 during the week. And then after 5 o'clock and on the weekend, it goes to the county. So I don't know how they work that shit. Oh, okay.
Right. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I believe it's ICUS. But I didn't know. Apparently, Accountability for All had said something, and they said that he was correct, that I was a good man and very relatable to all. I appreciate all those nice things you all say, even though I'm very unworthy. of all those nice things, I just want to say I do appreciate all those comments. Oh, look, there's another big name. We got Flat Derp that just popped up in here. Hello, how you doing? Some of the funniest videos you'll ever
Oh my
see are on
God.
that channel. So if you love to laugh and you love to laugh at chili, I suggest you go check out Flat Derp's channel, because I know the other day I was watching a new one that he put up, and I unfortunately, if you're watching his channel, do not drink a thing while you're doing it. I spit
Oh, that's
water
a
all
real.
over my monitor.
Hey, put my screen up for a minute. I'll show you this clip I grabbed of him. You're gonna love this.
I lost 3 hearings. VFD, who cares? I'm going to lose a lot more hearings. I'm going to lose court cases. I'm going to lose elections. I'm going to lose, you name it. I'm going to continue to lose throughout the rest of my life. I lost 3 hearings. VFD.
I'm gonna continue to lose for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
I
well, yeah,
agree.
absolutely. When you are a loser, it just tends to be what you do. Now, I will say that maybe he will come in first in that, because he's one of the biggest consistent losers I have ever met, to be honest.
He's terrible. He's terrible. I don't even know how he keeps on. How he even has anybody that even listens to it. I mean,
Right?
what is he doing? I mean, nobody listens and nobody believes him about
I'm
anything he says.
I'm not sure he knows what he's doing. I mean, if you were to ask my opinion, I would say that he obviously has no clue what he's doing. A week before that, he was telling you how he was going to win all that, and now he's telling you, well, I lost. I knew I was going to lose. Hell, I'm just a loser. I'm going to lose everything. Well, of course you are. We knew that from the beginning, but then, convincing him has been a different story. Maybe now he sees.
He already sets himself up for, he says, that's all right as
Knew
long as
that
I
from
got
the
him
beginning,
tied up
but
in
then,
car, as long as I have him.
convincing him has been a different story. Maybe now he's.
Oops,
Hey,
that
talk
was-
about a delayed reaction.
yeah, that was me, man. I was pulling this up over here so I can fuck with the chat. The
Yeah, I
little
thought that was one of those voices in my head. It sounded a lot like me.
Yeah, it was. It did. You'll know it's God though. You know how you can know when it's God is because it sounds like Orson Welles. God sounds like Orson Welles.
Uh-oh. Apparently the captain is afraid of accountability for all.
Oh no, the captain of Uncool too.
So I just he calls him wet educator.
Wet educated. Talking shit. You're definitely talking shit. Definitely talking shit. Who was shot to death?
One of the other things that I wanted to let y'all know about and update y'all tonight, I'll go ahead and get that out of the way, is I finally received the public records request that I had made
Oh,
right
cool.
around Memorial Day. It took a little extra time. One of those body cam parts that I had gotten was the original Tim and Sarah, Tim Lyons and Sarah Page story. And I watched it and found absolutely no more than they did, no more than the police officers did, and no more than Tim and Sarah did. It seemed to happen exactly the way it was pointed out, and there you go. The second one that I had gotten, I won't release the name. I don't want to dox anybody, but they were apparently from, and this person, I didn't know him personally, but I know one of his family members personally. That's how they contacted me. And apparently they were pulled over, and he was at the bar. She had come to pick him up. She was driving. I won't say who she is or he, but she apparently had called her. He shouldn't have been driving. He was correct. He had been drinking at the bar, and she come to pick him up. I do not know what the reason for the stop was, but once they got them stopped, her driver's license had been suspended. She did have a driving permit. Now, sometimes you can get a permit, and I don't know all the particulars. I know you can get one like for work, or if you have to, if you have care of kids, you can get, to do things. But unfortunately for her, that was expired as well. So basically, she's driving on an expired license, and local ordinance and the Ohio Revised Code, if you are driving under a suspension, your car is immediately generally impounded. It's not what we like to see. However, it is legal, and that's what they do. He also had a loaded 38 special in the glove box, which probably wouldn't have been a problem had he not had a flask of whiskey right beside it. That's what turned it from, anything else into a felony. So anytime you have control of a weapon, if you also have alcohol or you are drinking in this state, it now becomes a felony. So, his car was impounded. The only interesting thing that I noticed in that body cam footage, and this was from Patrolman Joe Akers, the K9 unit here. He had asked the gentleman, he said, look, man, is she just, and the guy was kind of, he was kind of being put offish to the cops. And I have no problems with that. If you don't want to answer questions, fine. He said, man, is it one of them situations where you're just, you're at the bar, you drank too much and she's coming to pick you up and take you home? Is that all this is? And instead of, and it almost seemed like he was going to be sympathetic, you know what I mean, and try to help him out. And rather than that, the guy looked at him and said, man, I ain't going to answer any of your questions. And so Patrolman Akers looked him back in the eye and said, okay, fuck it. I don't care if they take your stuff then, and went on about with everything, and then found the gun and the liquor and all that. So, it would be my advice that if you're in that situation and they ask you a simple yes or no question like that, maybe you might want to think about answering certain questions, because it may help you. They're not always necessarily ready to hurt you, I guess it depends on who you are. And again, I'm not trying to say who's good or who's bad. Just from what I saw in the body cam footage, it seemed like for a moment he was wanting to help out rather than trying to stick him with everything the law demanded. I
Right.
don't know how that would have turned out. I can't know. It's a total assumption. But I know that the entire attitude of the stop changed at that moment, because I think
Sure.
he was trying to be nice. And when he found out he wasn't going to allow him to do that, he just quit trying to be nice and hammered him with absolutely everything he could find. So that's what happened in that. Those are the two that I have so far. There are a couple others that I'm going to request, and I'm sure there'll be more in the future. But for the moment, I don't have anything to prove any kind of crazy misdoings or any kind of crazy actions by the police. No handcuff beatings and tasings. No, nothing like that.
Well, so it was pretty much just, the guy lipped off and he said, fuck you. I'll just let him take your shit then. Right on.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty much.
I can't say I would respond differently. Um, I
Well, I think people forget sometimes when they're looking at the badge that there is a person behind that badge with their own self-pride and ego and personality. And if you jab too much at that, if you say too much, or you try to make personal insults or cut downs toward this officer, even though it may not be professional, some of them are going to respond like a human. You know what I mean?
well,
Some
you
people,
gotta,
if you say the wrong thing to them, they'll slap you right in your mouth. And although they may not do that, they absolutely will do what they can within the bounds of the law.
well, let's take a look at where that came from too. Let's not forget alcohol was involved here. Alcohol always makes you say and do just the right things, doesn't it? I mean, think about it.
Every time. Some people are
The whole
just
reason.
instant. Some people are instant asshole. Just that alcohol.
Well, it's like my son is the same way. He doesn't drink, and it's because he and we have two conditions: is sober and evil, and that's pretty much it. So, um, there again.
Have
I
a
mean,
great
the whole
night, Navy
thing
girl. Thank you for coming.
he had his girlfriend pick him up because he was drunk, right? So there again, like you said, that whole thing could have been avoided, but there's that belligerence that comes out, that negative shit that always uh is part of the influence of alcohol, and that's how it always you always see it work out like that. You always see it like that. I don't understand why they push it so well. I do understand why they push it so hard in our society. It's okay to use that shit, which is socially,
I
mentally.
hate to interrupt you, David. I hate to interrupt you, but I actually have to say something to Jane. She was asking if I got my booster seat back from the restaurant, and I just want to say, kiss my little ass.
Yep, that was funny as shit.
For those of you that don't know that story, we were at the restaurant, and I had walked across the patio there and was talking to someone else, and I turned back around, and Jane had pushed out a seat that had a booster seat in it and said, "Hey Terry, we have your seat ready."
Jane's a little smart ass.
So very funny there. that link is out there in the chat. So if Joshua or anybody else wanted to come up and have their say, now's your time. We got about
Yeah,
about
that seems
35 minutes or
fun.
so. I'm going to cut off at 9 because Sovereign and I have on a show on his channel, Tinfoil Hat Tuesday, starting at 9:30, and I assume he'll have some things to do, and I know I do before we go live on that. So we got about 35 minutes if anybody out there wants to jump on.
We've
EB
been
Joe, you've been
talking
awful
man
quiet.
shit.
Do you have anything to add or anything to say?
Yeah, actually, I was looking up the stats for Ironton for the auction vehicles. In 2019, 70% is literally like 69.2% of the vehicles that were towed were actually released back to the people. So I think that's pretty cool. Even though Chile said it was like 90% of the vehicles were auctioned, which is not true in any way.
He just makes shit up. You know,
He just made it up just to make it up. So he's, no stats, but we have the stats, and it's very much 70% of the people bought their cars back or paid for their cars to get back.
well, see. Well,
Well,
it's
we
like
appreciate that, EB. Thank you. I'm glad I got you there to look up those statistics.
Yeah. I'm nosy like that. I'm like, what's the actual stats on this?
well, you got to look them up because I think it's like 68% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Oh, I thought it was 80.
No, well, see, either way, I just did the same. I just did it, so
Oh, okay. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
made that up.
Jeebus Chris was asking if I got McKnight's body worn camera footage from that incident. I assume you're talking about with Sarah. He was not on the stop that I got. Only had Fouch and the bearded Blankenship Chance, and I got both of those. That was the only one that I got from those. If you're talking about the other stop, McKnight was also not on that one. So it was both. It was K9 Acres and the same Blankenship. So
It amazes me
let's
how
see. He popped into the backstage here.
everybody's like, ooh, McKnight, like he's everywhere. This is not Batman. It's McKnight. He's 24.
Hey, we have
25 years old.
we have
He's
Bed
not everywhere.
Wetucator. We have Bed Wetucator on the panel with us. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? It's me, Chad Gooney, and I just wanted to say that I'm the bed wetucator, and I don't want to fight Josh because I'm a big old pussy, and I smell like goat cheese. And I also wanted to say that I love auditors, and I hate police, and I'm the only cop that's good, and so on and so forth. And I love Josh Abrams. He's the best.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad to have a professional captain of the Ironton Police Department's opinion on all of that. I appreciate you coming up and sharing that with us, Bed Wetucator.
Yeah, thank you. If you have any questions about law, you can feel free to ask me. I'm ready to answer any questions y'all might have. Stay blessed.
The only question I have is about the bedwetting thing. Is that indeed illegal, or is it just strange?
No, it's not. Let me tell you something. Peeing outside or peeing is not illegal. It's not lewd and lascivious because you have to do that to, entice or make someone else horny. I can't do that. I woke up one morning, I wet my bed, and I said, "Let's do this." Some people brush their teeth. I wet the bed.
You kind of lost your accent right there, Bed Wetucator. You lost your accent.
It's tough trying to keep up the tough guy routine, isn't it, Captain?
Well, if you don't there's a certain Appalachian that happens when you get fired up, right? And you get a little bit more slang, and that's quite the opposite of the slang. So no if and yont to and mayonnaise, a lot of fish in that water. I mean, none of that happened. It just got more northern.
Yeah, well, you know what the thing is? This is my guitar playing voice.
Oh,
so when I feel like I'm about to play the guitar or make a video about working out, my voice gets a little bit more northern. That's all I do.
Okay. That makes so much more sense.
That's right. Yep. Hey, you guys heard that song, God Bless the AFA? It's a beautiful song. I'm going to be singing that next time. You're going to be seeing a new weekly series. I'm going to be singing songs dedicated to AFA and how wonderful he is.
There you go. That's exactly what we're after.
Go ahead and sing it.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, just go ahead and grab your guitar, man. I'll give you your panel right now.
Putting me on the spot here. All right, I'll have to do it acapella. I really stink like cheese and shit. My breath smells like butthole, and I really wish that Josh was here because he makes me whole. I was afraid to fight Chili, and then he sprained his knee, and now I have to fight Josh, and he stole all of my glee. Because I'm proud to be the Bedweducator, because God bless AFA. And people don't like me because they think I'm. Hey, can I get my pizza? Thank you. Sorry, I was ordering a pizza.
I love the song. Love the song, Bedweducator. That was awesome.
You got to put that to. Where's your guitar?
I want to say to Ginger LeBray out there. Ginger LeBray said she's only 5'2", that I wasn't that tiny, and they shouldn't pick on me so much. The beautiful thing, the thing that you don't know is Jane is actually my baby sister. So she picks on me all the time, and I expect it, and I love her for it. We pick at each other all the time. It's a great, wonderful thing. We have a good relationship, and because of my height, I'm just generally used to most people picking on me over it. So to me, I don't take it as an insult. I love it. You know, we all can't be big and beautiful. We all can't be rich and powerful. Some of us are just short, furry, and funny. And as I say, I like to stick with my strengths.
Well, it's good you're shorter, because when you're shorter, it makes your dinky look bigger. I mean, I'm tall and my dinky looks real small because I'm the Bedweducator.
What was funny?
Well, you know, when you're my size, you have to be careful that it doesn't drag behind you.
Oh God. Y'all woke up.
Well, I figure if we're gonna throw out the bullshit, I can throw out a ton or two myself.
Is that why Della calls you tripod?
Oh, geez.
That is exactly why. I can
Now,
hold it like a
listen.
kickstand.
He can back up here.
I'll tell you one thing about the Bedweducator. They call me quicksand. They call Ironton Auditor kickstand. That man has rug burns on his penis.
You are
Then y'all
killing me,
woke
man.
up.
It's terrible.
I gotta go take pictures of myself and my police cruiser now. I gotta start hitting the gym, because Josh is gonna come whip my butt, and that's the truth.
When's that supposed to happen?
Anytime Josh sees me, I cower in fear because I'm the Bedweducator. So it could happen anytime, any place. It's like a ludicrous song.
Look here, look. Oh wait, there's somebody impersonating you in the chat there.
Yeah, that's not the real one. That's Chili. That's not the real one.
Oh, okay. That's Chili. He's going to continue to lose. You know that. He's going to continue to lose for the rest of his life. He said that.
And that is quoted by himself, actually. He said that. We didn't. Well, I mean, of course, we all knew it. We didn't say it in those exact words, but he just pointed it out easy for us. Hello,
Terry,
Kyle. Good
great
to see
show.
you.
I gotta go. Josh is coming. I gotta run. I love all you guys. You guys are the best, but I gotta run before Josh kicks my ass, I'm afraid.
Hey, man, thanks for coming up. I appreciate it. I'm always honored to have you here. Thank you.
JR says Josh will toss the salad.
Josh may toss a lot of things, but I'll tell you what, he is, regardless of how you feel about him being an auditor and what he's done in his past or not, you got to admit he's one of the funniest guys when he tries. And sometimes when he ain't even trying, he's just goofy, he's fun, and he's funny. And I sure hope that sometime in the future I actually get to spend some time with him. I think he and I get along pretty well.
Yeah. That sounds like some fun. So looking like we might they're really pushing for this World War III shit here. You seen all the crap that's going on? Somebody blew up a
No,
pipe.
actually, I've been out of the loop and not paying any attention, so you'll have to fill me in on exactly what you're talking about. The last thing I heard was somebody mention nukes in the Ukraine, and I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah, somebody blew up a pipeline of natural gas that was supposed to go to Poland from Russia, and they're wanting to blame the Russians, but it's like, why would they blow it up? They have the fucking knob, they could like just turn it off. That doesn't make any sense to me. And yeah, that shit about he's amassing supposedly a mobilization of troops along the border. There was a referendum by those areas in the Donbass region that they want to become part of Russia. And so that'll expand Russia's border, which is, of course, going to cause conflict with Ukraine. It's all about whether NATO steps in or not, which I don't even know why we're in NATO, but it's inevitable. They're just going to have another slaughter of the firstborn like they do every so many years. What's that? The footage. What did Jesus?
Hey guys, I need to respond to this one. Yeah, I think part of what see, you guys have that. I was unable to get that only because they had switched body cams and companies right through that. So that was before the one I got, I think. And because of that, it was on the different system and they no longer have access to that. So I was unable to get that. And of course, she told me I could get it from you guys. So I figured at some point we would do that. Since I wasn't able to get it from them, I got the only cam footage that they actually could get from California or wherever that stuff comes from now.
Yeah.
So that is what I got. I just wanted to make sure he understood.
So imagine if we had 360 degree 4K cameras that were on. Oh wait, never mind.
You mean like transparency? Is that
Yeah,
what you're?
We already did that.
Well, I tell you what, we probably have a lot of transparency officers with brain cancer. Would
Oh
be
my
my guess. You
God.
got that many microwaves, microwave generators all around your skull. That's probably not the best way to get it done.
Well, see, he's missing the boat because he could have that shit hooked up to like Neuralink, with that little Elon Musk brain implant thing that they're wanting to hook up to computers and shit for people. They
Oh
could have
yeah,
that.
sure, why not? That sounds great. I mean, I've always wanted to be linked in and just become a computer myself.
That's what I
Doesn't
was.
that just sound wonderful?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that exact same thing the other day. I said to myself, man, I wish I had the internet inside my brain. Said
The
nobody
only
else.
time that ever looked cool was in the Matrix movie when they downloaded Kung Fu, and in a few seconds he opens his eyes and he says, "I know Kung Fu." Now that
Yeah.
would be cool, but I don't know that I want to, just shove a spike in the back of my head in order to get it done. To be honest.
Yeah, that looked kind of harsh, man. It was like, I don't want to, that kind of bothers me. I remember one time when I was a kid, I saw this thing. It was on a documentary on PBS, and they had done an experiment. This was shit in the 70s, where they had linked up a video camera to a guy's visual cortex. He was blind and he was able to see using this video camera. And that was in the 70s. That was like, holy shit, man. What? But I still I don't like that whole idea because you know how shit is. Power windows are cool until they break. You know, it sounds like some expensive repairs.
Peter has a good point here. If you just want walking numb nuts with cameras, why not use AIs just for filming? That's actually a great idea. If that's all you're going to do anyway and scream, "Hey, transparency's here," and you're on camera, I think a
That's
robot would
it.
do just fine.
That's it. People don't give a shit if they're on camera. You know how many surveillance videos I've seen of people greasing store clerks? They didn't give a fuck. They were on camera.
Okay, but where are we going to house all of the data from it? And
There
not
you
only
go.
that, where are we going to charge these AI and or devices that people are using? There's just like if we're going to shut down California half the day for energy because there's no power, then how are we going to do that? I got a little.
Well, that's a whole nother tackle issue right there. That free energy, there's energy in the air. They know it, and my suspicion is that the power companies are actually using it and then charging us for it. Um, that's my own actual belief on that. But like you say, it's what we need. It's one thing if you got to watch everybody. It's kind of like how religion works. Now you're just if you gotta rely on that to be a good person, then you're just a bad person on a leash. And it's the same thing. There's our biggest problem is people. Okay, why is their minds the way that they are now? Why do people have this fucked up thinking? That's what we need to look at. That's what we need to look at. Not like, oh, we're gonna have to watch everybody 24/7. We need to find out why there's so many fucktards. What's going on in our society that would produce that many bad people? Why are there so many? That just doesn't make sense to me. That tells me that's a fault of society itself.
Hey guys, I want to give a shout out to B Girl for $1.99. She said, "Did you tell everyone?" I said, "Hey, wrench, please."
Please.
I don't know if they all heard that one or not, and I'm not for sure because I can't flip to the other screen, but I believe she does have a wrench, does she not?
I don't know. I can't tell. Let me see.
You'd have to see from the YouTube side. I can't have two windows open
Yeah,
tonight.
I'm
My
over
internet's
here.
been a little screwy.
Let me see. Where is she? What are we looking at? We're looking at B girl.
She does not have a
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't.
Did you say she does not have a wrench?
No, she does not have a wrench. No wrench.
Do you know how to do that, EB Joe? In that chat bar, in the regular YouTube chat bar, there'll be 3 dots right beside the name. If you'll click on that, you can hit add moderator.
I can't. I can hide them. Want me to hide them? Or report? Yes. Or report.
Well, maybe you have to be the channel owner. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
gotta be
problem.
you.
Let me see if I can.
You won't let me do it.
If
Yeah,
I
it's
start
only allowing me
if
to
I
hide.
start roboting or I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's only allowing me to put her in timeout or to block her. I don't want to do either one of those.
There you go. Yes, he says.
Okay, give me just a second here. I'm working on it. I'm working on it here. Like I said, if I start roboting or go out, it's because my internet's a little screwy tonight. Every once in a while that happens. It's not always perfect. So
Peter, you're absolutely correct.
I cuss it and call it names a lot.
You know what causes that? This idea of survival of the fittest. Bullshit. Listen to that. If you ever get a chance, listen to Pink Floyd's Dogs. That is the shit. That'll pretty much sum
There you
it
go,
up.
big girl. The next time you put something in the chat, it should turn blue, and you should see the wrench beside your name. Give it a try.
Oh yeah. That's it. Accountability for all said it was really nice for Chad to go on the panel. It was really nice of him. So that was cool.
I agree. I agree, and I'm glad he was open enough and honest enough to admit that, he could whip Chili's ass, but Josh scares him. I'm
Right?
glad that he's man enough to admit that here on the panel.
Yeah.
And I mean, it takes a big man to talk about wetting the bed. I mean, let's be honest. Not everybody can say that without being embarrassed. So, hats off to Bedweducator for being such a man and being able to admit the truth like that.
Well, maybe we can do the next event for charity to find a cure for bedwetting. If
that is a serious possibility. You know what, though? I just found somebody here in the local area. She had surgery and had to have another one the next morning. She's supposed to have several. I have been talking to her on the back end a little bit, and when I get back a hold of her and we settle the details, we may have a small charity just for a single person in order to help her out. I guess she's got 3 or 4 kids. She's going to have several surgeries. She's a single mother, and it sounds like that would be a good a good person to help. So as soon as I have that information and I know exactly what they're going to need, maybe we can put together something for her. And it's not a national cause or anything, but in my opinion, we should all help each other where we can. So, when we need something, if somebody's willing to help, then guess what? None of us need any help because we already have it.
Right on.
Laura Rader says, a serious question, not for you, but mostly for other auditors. Don't you think auditing would be more effective with spy cameras instead of obvious gear? Well, that depends on what you're looking for. A lot of the other auditors are looking for that reaction. They're looking to cause it. So if they can get an argument going with a police officer, that's where they get their clicks and views, by calling them names, making it a big dramatic thing, getting arrested, pushed away, thrown in jail. It seems like a lot of, and I'm not saying all of them, I'm not trying to broad brush, but there are a lot of quote unquote auditors out there who obviously do it for those reasons. Now, me, on the other hand, the reason that I don't hide, and I have been asked why I don't try to do it more covertly, and the reason is because I don't want them to violate your rights. I don't want to see them doing it, and I don't want to have to stop them. And if they know I'm there with my camera, I'm betting that they won't. And I want them to know I'm there. I want them to know that I'm there for that reason, to hold them accountable. I don't want to hide and give them the opportunity to hurt you before I come out of the bushes and say, hey, I saw that. If that makes sense.
Right.
That is the reason I do the way I do it.
Well, I see it the other way too, because it's they have to see the camera and then go, hey, watch out, be careful what you say and do. There's a guy with a camera over there. Or if they don't see the camera, they're more apt to be uh, in their natural habitat, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? They're less apt to be guarded and do what they do, and that's usually how they catch it. That's usually how these crooked ones end up getting caught, because they don't know they're being photographed. Some of them have actually caught themselves on their own body cams. That's what gets me. But there again,
Right.
there's that people problem. I just saw on shit, which one was it? One of Brian's channels, I think it might have been Grease Monkey. Either that or Here's the Deal. There was 47 sheriff's deputies that had their powers taken away, and they're not allowed to carry guns and shit. They can't arrest anybody for because they didn't, something about they have to go back over their psychological exam that they didn't pass, but they got hired anyway. I think it was Alameda County in California. But I was like, are you shitting me? And it's like, you didn't pass, but you're so shorthanded, you'll take somebody that didn't pass the psychological exam as a cop
I want
anyway.
to throw this out there real quick. Car Thief News says he wishes that we could have shared air while I was in Ironton, and although that didn't happen and can't happen today, if you're out there, that link's in the description there. If you are in the chat, if you want to come up here and we can share a little bit of air right now, if you want to come up,
Yeah, man. Right
you're
above.
more than welcome. And let's get this up here by Josh here. He said 20,000 views in 6 hours and didn't even have to go hands-on, scream, or swear at anyone. He only had to be smarter than the cop was. And I agree. I watched that one. It was a great interaction. I like that one, Josh. I'll say the Ironton auditor approved of that audit. If it really makes any difference, and it don't to anybody but me. But hey, I liked it. It was a great interaction. I enjoyed it.
It was. I saw it too. I watched it sometime this afternoon here. I've been like, my dogs have been really clingy since I came back from down there. So I sat in here and just fucked with my dogs all day. And
Well,
a lot of
probably because both of you were here and not you. The first time it was just you, so she stayed home. This time you were both gone for a few days, so that's probably what
yeah,
got him, I would say.
yeah. Listen, there's something else. They're just funny. The way they are. Each one of them got their own little fucking personality. It cracks me up so bad.
Now, there is you a comment to read.
Oh my god.
And as a fellow sleepwalker, I understand your pain. Now, I've never used the garbage can as a toilet, but I have woke up in some strange places before. I'll give you that.
Now, it only ever happened to me when I was drinking. But I haven't drank in over 11 years.
Was that sleepwalking or drunk walking? There might be a difference between sleepwalking and drunk walking.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember it, so I was in some altered state of consciousness that was separate from the one that I call this, So I don't know whether it was sleep, drunk, whatever the case, but still, yeah. You're in a semi conducive state where you're kind of just confusing reality is all. I don't know. It's weird shit. I don't know about that. I know people on Ambien people that take that Ambien shit. Man, I've heard of people getting up and going fucking grocery shopping in the middle of the goddamn night, and not
That
even
stuff
really
will
know it.
screw with your head.
Yeah, man. I was like, I had a manager. I worked at Red Lobster years ago, and this manager, she was on that Ambien, and she did that. She went fucking grocery shopping, man. Didn't even know it. Middle of the night, went to Walmart, grocery shopping, came home, went back to bed, and nobody paid no attention. Somebody walking around Walmart middle of the night in their nightgown, man. That's just like, it's Walmart. Um, so yeah, that's some fucking scary shit. You don't even remember driving there and back and whatnot. Whoa, don't want none of that. Oh, the latest and
I'm not
greatest from
exactly sure what's happening out there in the chat, but I see ZXL Masters giving out the warning, and I kind of agree with them. If you can't comment like an adult, don't. Again, if you're going to insult me, that's fine. You can say whatever you want about me. I don't mind. But if you're going to insult my chat, or you're going to insult my other panel members, know that there are mods out there that'll kick your ass. And EB Joe is here to kick your ass if you're not careful. She's always on the watch. She's got my back. And I'm going to add Mr. B here for a bit. We got about 10 minutes left in this stream, and I have to cut off. But hello, Mr. B. How you doing tonight?
I don't hear nothing.
Are you there, Mr. B? Your mic's muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
There you are. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, I had to charge the stupid headset.
Well, it's good to see you tonight. How have you been?
Driving down the road in the dark.
In the what? Is he that black square right there? Is he the black?
Yeah. He's the truck driver, Mr. B.
Ah. Yeah, listen, you need to have a talk with the rest of them truck drivers, man. A bunch of them motherfuckers driving like dickwads all the way to Ironton and back. Couldn't believe it, man. Just blew me away, some of the shit.
Not all of them are as safe as we wish they were, are they? Some of them are still. I do have to say that I drove in Columbus, Ohio for a long time, and I drove around a lot of semis. And I always had a CB in my little old car. It was a little blue 88 Toyota Corolla. It was a tiny little car, which works because I'm a tiny little guy. And one of the guys asked me, he said, "What's your handle?" And I said, "I don't know. How do you get one?" And he said, "Is that you and that tiny blue four-wheeler up in front of me?" I said, "Yes, sir." So he just started calling me Little Boy Blue. So I guess that's how you get a handle. But I drove around a lot of semis, and I think for the most part, the average guy seems to try to be very safe. And I watch them try to drive in traffic, and because the assholes in the cars don't seem to understand how much room a semi needs, it might seem as though the truck is dangerous, but it's usually the traffic around them that puts them in a situation like that.
I don't know,
Of course,
man.
that's not 100% of the time. That's just my observation.
What I saw, it was all semis jammed up together, causing all the fucking shit because they get going so jammed up on one another's asses. And then the one goes up a little bit of a grade and the other one can't slow down or something. So he's got to shift over into this lane. Then he fucks everybody up for about 10 minutes and then pops over finally. And it's like, they're the ones crowding up on each other from what I saw all the way from here down there that whole way.
The biggest problem I have is like I've gone to pass people several times. I just say it happened a little while ago. I passed the truck. Just as I was just past the front bumper of the truck, I give it another truck length before you move over to the next lane. Just as I put on my turn signal, a guy comes around me, honking his horn, flipping me off. It's like, okay, I was past that truck. One guy I actually did that to. I gave him a truck length, went to go over, put my turn signal on. This guy comes around me in my blind spot. Then another guy. And I'm slowing down because I'm going uphill. But I was still past the other truck. And finally, when I get around, about 10 cars finally let me. 3 of them followed me into a rest area and asked what my problem was. I said, my problem? I put my turn signal on. Yeah, but you waited till you were over 50 feet past it. I said, the truck's over 50. The trailer alone's 53 foot long. I got to give them the length of a truck before I turn over in front of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see that too. Well, these motherfuckers all the time wanting to pass on the right. It's like, what in the fuck are you doing? I go around somebody, and then, like you say, I'm trying to give them. I wait till I can see the whole vehicle in my rearview mirror before I even get over, right? So that gives them safe distance, right? And here's some other fucking asshole comes up and passes around, then comes over on the right, and he's hiding up in my blind spot. I'm like, where in the fuck did you come from? Why are you doing this? What in the hell?
Yeah, it's like the route I take. This one route I take. You take a left off one highway, and then 2 miles up the road, you take another left. If the traffic's real heavy, I'll get in the left lane and stay there. And I've had people flip me off. One called the name on my truck, and I answered the phone. And I said, hello. And they said, yes, this truck number, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and he's staying in the left lane. I said, because, well, the area he's in, he's got to make another left-hand lane in 2 miles, and the traffic's heavy. So it makes no sense to go over to the right and then try and force his way over to the left to cause a pileup. Yeah, but that ain't the way. And I said, really? And he gave me the truck number, and I said, oh, by the way, you're talking to the guy driving the truck. If you want, when we get up to this highway, there's a little rest there if you want to pull over and talk about like man to man. And he goes, what? He said, I want the name of your company. And I said, you're calling me. I own my truck. So if you want to talk over and talk man to man, well, I'll gladly explain it to you. But I've been driving long enough, and I challenged him to pull me over. And he would, and I pulled over, and he came up behind me and started cussing me out. I told him why. I said, do you see all this traffic out here? I said, if I had gone over to the right so you can take your impatient butt out of the way, I said, then I would have almost had to come to a dead stop because I would have missed my exit. He said, well, that ain't my problem. Well, it ain't my problem that you're in such a hurry. I was going 5 miles over the speed limit. Yeah, and you're doing, he says you can go 10, 20 over. Maybe you can, but I can't. I'm a commercial vehicle. If a cop sees me going over 5 miles over the speed limit, that's a $1,200 ticket. He sees you going 10 miles over the speed limit, it's like a $300 ticket. Who do you think he's going to pull over?
All right, guys, we have about 3 minutes left. So, all right, I'm going to start with you, Sovereign. What was your favorite part? If you could just pick one part, what was your favorite part of the whole weekend that you were here?
Oh man, well, it's hard to pin down into just one thing. I would have to say, yeah, I would have to say when we all was at that hot dog place. I that was just a lot of fun. That place was just a fucking. It was just fun. The whole place was just fun, and everybody there. And I thought that was really cool. Everybody meet because we all just kind of ended up there. It's not like we planned it. It's sort of like, and it was so wild too. Because I was going, man, if Irish Demon saw this place, he'd flip shit. And then next thing I know, look out the window, and there you guys are all walking around out there. I was like, holy shit, man! It's like by divine appointment or something.
That looks a lot like some of parts of my dad's property. I'm not kidding. There's so much junk there, and I was like, oh yeah, it looks like he's got one of them. He's got about 5 of them. So
we got places like that around here too. Yeah, man.
Okay, Terry, what was your favorite part of the whole weekend?
Well, actually, I didn't have a favorite part. My favorite part was the weekend. I got to spend time with people that people that I've always wanted to meet, people that I may never get to see again in my whole life. And I got the opportunity to spend that bit of time with them, and I enjoyed it so much. And I also got to spend more time with you. I think you're a great person. I love to see you and talk with you. And I hope that we get that opportunity more often here locally. I would like to see you come out with me and my wife and me and my sister, get together with us a little more often. You seem like somebody that I can hang out with. I also want to let everybody know that
same room because we'll tag team you.
I want to let everybody know that this wonderful lady right here, EB Joe, bought 2 front row tickets for me. And that was awesome. And I can't say thanks enough. I wish I could. Just know the depth of my gratitude and how much I appreciate you for that, so that I got to enjoy the fun and I didn't have to be the little guy standing out on the sidewalk waiting until it was over. It was an awesome experience, and thank you so much for making it available to me. That was probably my favorite part, was when you turned up with 2 front row tickets. I'd say if I had to pick a favorite part, that was probably it, because it allowed me to be included in something I didn't think I was going to make.
It's okay. It's okay. I think my favorite part of the whole weekend was the very first night. when we were all at the restaurant, because it was just the initial meeting, and then just it was instant, like maybe a minute, and then all of a sudden we just became ourselves again. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so it is 8:59, and I know that Sovereign Soul has his own show starting in just a few minutes. So I just want to let you know that, Terry.
Yeah, we got
Yes, we definitely need to shut this down because he's got some stuff to do, and I do too. And then we'll get on his channel, and as Irish Demon says, we'll have a bit of crack there, huh?
There you go. There you go. That was funny as shit. His Royal Highness. His Royal Highness. I'm sorry about your grandma. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was funny.
Jesus. Permanently.
All righty, guys. There you go. We're at 9 o'clock, and as much as I hate to jump off here, if you want, you can catch us all over on the Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind channel. Please join us. It is Tinfoil Hat Tuesday. It is the highlight of my YouTube week. I enjoy the show. Again, you don't have to agree or disagree with us. Just hang out and have some fun. And hey, if you know something or want to discuss something, let him know. Maybe he'll bring you up on the panel and you can have your say.
We're going
But
to
y'all have a great night.
We're all going to talk about UFOs tonight, man.
Oh, that's gonna be great. So first of all, hello and goodbye to everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know that. I love to see you show up. I love to read the comments. Love to talk and see and interact with absolutely everybody. Mr. B, thanks for joining me. Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind, EB Joe, and everybody in the chat. Y'all have yourselves a great night. And catch us over on the other channel, and we'll have us some more fun. And like I said, as Demon says, we'll have a bit of crack there. Y'all have a great night.
Night, guys.
Night.